Okay, okay. So my name is Richard Ogundele. I'm glad to be here. Uh, I'm an I'm an AI cloud engineer. I work in the Manchester Metropolitan University, and I also co-found a startup, which is my venture capital, where we give funds to students, especially who have ideas that can change the tech world. Alongside, I also, I'm the director of Diamond Foundation, and we're on a mission to bridge digital divide among children in rural communities. So, apart from tech, I when I don't do tech and I don't do my foundation, I'm usually into music. I play the piano, I sing, and I travel a lot and I network. So yeah, that's just all about me. Okay, so my venture capital, yeah, I said we give funds to students who have ideas that can change the world. So students, we actively source for students, especially in universities here in the UK, that have ideas in technology, AI, engineering, and once this idea has the potential to change the world, we uh, process how we can raise funds to develop that idea into a product, into a physical product, just for to help the students boost their confidence and employability as well. And in the long term, they get to network with investors that can actually invest in that idea that we turned into MVP. So it's more like helping them to get seed funding, Series A, Series B, and all. But our duty is to get the pre-seed funding, which is what turns the idea to a product. Oh wow, that's a very good question, and not a lot of people have asked me. So I started my journey in AI in 2020. Of course, I've always been around tech. I've always been interested in robotics from a younger age, like when I was in my primary school, in college, and I've always been interested in computers, robots, and but I had a bachelor's in geophysics because the way the university I went to then in Nigeria was structured, they give you a course and you just have to study that course, right? And I studied geophysics, and in my third year, I started finding out how we can use computers, how we can use robot softwares to actually make geophysics better. So I dived more into computational geophysics. I did my project around that. And after the whole bachelor's of a thing, I literally just like had God again, and it was like I need to go into AI fully right now. And then my mentor in geophysics just died. Like, so it was more like a confirmation for me, because this was the man that was holding my hands in that field. He was going to give he was going to give me a job. I was to resume a job as a geophysicist in I think Anchor University in Lagos. But he died, so there is no how I can even get that job again. And I just feel like geophysics is not it for me, and I started embracing AI, learning about software development, machine learning, data science, and I did that for 2 years before going for my master's in artificial intelligence. And my master's was amazing. I did great things in a short while, and God has just been helping us to do all of those things. It's not been easy, but it is fulfilling. Like, I find fulfillment in it. So it's really amazing. Yeah. Okay. So that's a good question, and like to answer by this. Artificial intelligence is simply the capability of machines to, perform tasks that humans would perform, or it would take human intelligence to perform. Tasks like learning, reasoning, problem solving, decision making, content creation, writing, name it. And the reason why AI is coming so much, or we are moving in a very fast speed, is because there is so much availability of data. And the truth is that data is what fuels artificial intelligence. Like, there is AI is not going to exist if there is no data. So because we have so much data available that a machine can train on to understand, to perform better. And one other thing again is computing power. The rise in cloud computing is really advancing AI technologies. The rise in cloud computing. This is where we have data centers where we can store our data, where we can uh, protect the storage, security, and everything. So, because of the rise of in cloud computing and data availability, is making AI easy and accessible to use in this time and age. Yes, I can hear you. Mm, mm. Okay, so there's been a lot of breakthroughs, research by different people, but the groundbreaking of AI actually started from Alan Turing. That was 1949, 1950. And this was during one of the wars, I think, between United Kingdom, that's the British, and the Nazis in Germany. And there was this Enigma machine that Alan Turing built. So for them to win the war, they needed to unlock some things. This, like, it's more like a supercomputer now. And it was really difficult for anyone to break through those codes. Then Alan Turing just said to himself, like, this is something I can do. And he built an Enigma machine, and just at the last hour, this machine was able to crack that code, and that code helped the British to win the war. Then that was in the 1950s. But then it was nothing. It was more like a just normal scientific. People didn't see anything. Then later, to, like, I think 50 years later, people started doing research on how AI. And yeah, prior to that, Alan Turing discovered a test, or asked the question: can we get to a time where machines are going to think like humans? So we call it Turing test. So for any machine to pass that test, it needs to be able to, it needs to be able to think and act like an human, have that human intelligence. And so he asked that question, but of course, there is no one to answer. So 50 years later, and unfortunately, because he was what we call homosexual, he was castigated. Then they didn't give him enough credit. His wife left him as well, and he had to commit suicide, I think, at the age of 41. But as time went on, there were great men that came around again, people that now took on this thing. In the 1980s, there is something called expert systems. This is where machines answer yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. It started coming up by researchers, and they had to also trace it back, and they discovered Alan Turing was actually the grand master of this whole artificial intelligence. And so the more the advancement, the more the breakthrough. That was how we saw the rise of data science, machine learning, deep learning, neural networks. And because there was no access to a lot of data, the research was slow then, unlike now that we have unlimited resources to data. Yeah, so it all started from Alan Turing's discovery and research. He wrote a paper on it, and that paper is the foundation for every AI machine we see out there today. Are you there? Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, so ChatGPT is just a fruit of AI research. It's just an evidence of AI research that is going on. So it's like a tip of the iceberg. So it's a chatbot, of course, that works on what we call large language models, and these large language models contains billions of parameters, which we would call data. So these large language models are trained in a way to, help people with tasks, generate content from scratch, perform human tasks and all. There are so many developments that are going to be coming up because we are still going to a future where everything is going to be smart. We call it smart cities. We already have smart homes. We already have Alexa, the likes of Alexa. We could have build an Alexa device in your home, and that device connects to every appliances in the home. Alexa, turn off my TV. Alexa, who is at the door. We are still at that stage now. So AI is still has a lot to offer to us. It just depends on the right knowledge and how we embrace it, because if we don't embrace it, we are going to slow down what it has to offer to us. So there is so much more to AI beyond just ChatGPT. Okay. Mm. Okay, yeah. I think what AI would do is AI would, yes, definitely change the way we work. Some of us will probably have to work probably 2 days in a week. So, hello, can you hear me? So I said AI is definitely going to change the way we work. AI is going to change the work structure. It's going to be more of hybrid, project based work. Some of us will probably have to do freelance. Some of us will probably have to, work 2 days in a week, because most everything is more of automated now, and people that are involved in project based work or that lead a project will probably be the ones to do the most then. So yeah, it's going to really change the future of work. Yeah, that's a very good question. And, I was speaking to someone 2 days ago and I asked her, what course do you want to study when you get to uni? And she was like, accounting and finance. And the next question I asked is, I want you to do a research. What is the fate of this field in 10, 20, 30 years? Where do you think you're going to be laid off, or you're going to be still going to be valuable, like, so that is a question everyone needs to ask themselves, like anyone going into uni right now, because when you at this age in 2025, if you find yourself studying some courses, in 5 years you will be full of regrets. And that is not to say you cannot change. That's where embracing change comes in. We have a lot of people that studied courses that AI has taken over. So the faster we are able to embrace, we are able to adapt to the new technologies, to the new courses that will be valuable, the more better it is for us. So for anyone, the advice is, think about it, do your research. How is it going to be in the next 20 years? List out courses that are going to be valuable in the next 10, 20 years. You have to now, position yourself for the future. That is what everyone needs to be doing now. Positioning themselves for the future by knowing the right course and skill they need to equip themselves with. Okay, I'll just mention a few. Courses like projects or fields like project management, product management, I don't see them going into extension. Fields that involve emotional intelligence, human connection, education, like disability, healthcare. There are fields that AI cannot fully replace. AI will probably just help them, but cannot take over their jobs. And then we also need to think about it, in the future there's going to be more of robots everywhere, like everyone would probably have access to a robot in the next 20, 30 years. We have hackers at the moment. In the future we are still going to definitely have hackers. So, and the mind of the hacker would be, how can I hack people's robots to perform in a way that is not meant to perform? And because of this problem, there's going to be a rise in robotic security engineers, because their duty will be to protect people's robots. It's just like the way we take our cars to the mechanic to just check. That's the same way it's gonna be. Like, people would probably take their robots today. So I mean, building a warehouse for that kind of system is a good mile already in the future. Like, so you just have to like think outside the box. What are the things that are going to happen? What are the limitations? How can I be a problem solver? And you are good to go. So yeah, that's just how we can some of the fields that would not really be automated in the future. Yeah, 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 it's an interesting time. Oh, I don't see that happening. I don't see robots taking over the kitchen. I mean, not fully. It could help, but not fully, because we have grinding machines, we have all these machines that make cooking easy. And so cooking requires creativity. Any job that requires creativity, AI is going to fail at it, because humans are different. Humans evolve, and for AI to catch up, AI needs to also catch up with that change that humans are having, and this would like take a long period of time. So I don't see AI take over the kitchen. Never. Like, I would never even allow a robot to cook for me. So those fields or those chefs you are listening to me, you guys are in a safe place. You just need to learn how to use machines and AI to, speed up your work. Okay. Okay, so when it comes to AI assistants, we need to use it ethically in a way that is healthy, because these tools, one can easily get addicted to it and kill their brain cells of creativity. And that's it, because when you give your whole power to an assistant to do everything for you, you are giving it, you are doing yourself more harm than good. Like, it is that simple. And that is actually being lazy. But when it comes to using AI in a smart way, it is that you use AI like a personal assistant. Just like you have, I wanted to hire a personal assistant one time, and I wasn't really getting a the kind of person I want. I mean, I would probably hire like two, three personal assistants. And I just like searched online, I looked for tools, automated the processes, and all I just get is a report of everything you have done. I cross check it. If it's not correct, you have to get it well. So my assistant understand how I would like it. So it's more like training it to understand how it would like it, but not giving it full dependencies. Because no matter how perfect your prompt engineering skill is, AI machines will still make mistake, because they were created by people that were not perfect. So it is essential for us to use it in a smart way, to cross check every result we get, to prompt it in the right way, to not rely so much on it. I tell people that you can learn any skill with ChatGPT or Gemini, and this is by teaching it how to communicate to you in the simplest way. That's why I can learn any skill right now as long as there is AI tools. And one of the best prompts is explain this thing to me like a 5 year old. Like, it's going to explain it the way your teacher would not explain. And it is reducing the weaknesses of lecturers that are not good at lecturing. You don't have Instead of you complaining, there are AI tools that would teach you in a much more better way. So I would not advise anyone to be lazy on it, because in the long run it's gonna affect such people. So use it in a smart way, use it in an ethical way, use it in a way that is beneficial. Use it as a personal assistant and not give it full authority. Yes, perfectly. Okay, AI would not replace developers, but AI will reduce the developers we have. And what do I mean? For you to be able to prompt AI, an AI assistant. When I mean AI now, I'm talking about ChatGPT. For you to be able to prompt ChatGPT, you need to understand and communicate in a way that ChatGPT will be able to pick up. There are terminologies in software engineering, there are terminologies in medicine. If I don't have an idea of the medicine terminologies, ChatGPT would probably give me a very poor result. But when a doctor takes on ChatGPT, gives it a prompt, he's going to get a very perfect response. Why? Because the doctor has the experience. And this is the same thing. Anyone that wants to go into coding should still learn coding with AI too. Like AI assistants, they can teach people how to code. Still learn coding, understand the basis. For anything you want to do, understand the basis. And once you understand the basis, a AI assistant helps you to achieve, you know, great milestones in seconds. So instead of you building a project for 3 months, you are able to build that project in 1 week, just because you understand and you have an assistant that can help you. So it's more of reducing the level of productivity and making us to focus on more creative tasks. So yeah, it's still worth learning coding. It's still worth learning it in 2025. Okay, so the best way to leverage AI now is to embrace AI. You cannot learn what you hate. You cannot, they always tell us then in primary school that for every subject you don't like, it becomes very difficult for you to understand. So you need to embrace, you need to like AI first. That's the first mindset. Then embracing, then getting the right knowledge, because there are so many false and fake knowledge on information on AI on the internet. You need to get the right knowledge, get the foundation. How is this thing built? How does this thing work? How does this uh how does it generate output? Getting all that knowledge helps you and makes you to get the best out of this AI assistant, even though they are not perfect. But learning AI, learning the knowledge behind how it is created, helps you to get the best out of it. Okay, for non-technical people, for people who are not going into tech, the best way is to probably get a course on YouTube. I have a course on AI as well, which is free, or you could decide to buy a course online, buy a training. The most important thing is the knowledge you get from it. So, but for people who are going into tech and wants to dive into the AI, the first thing you need to learn is programming language. Why I recommend Python as the best programming language to learn when you want to go into AI. But for non-technical people, you just need to get the basic knowledge, understand how it works. And for technical people, Python programming is your good to go in starting. Once you start, there is this thing about tech which is amazing. It is that once you start, you get more clarity yourself on what you want to, what you would like to build with AI. Yeah, I'm done. I can hear you. Yes, yes, definitely. I don't believe robots are going to replace our lecturers fully. They might reduce them because the future of education itself is at stake. The future of having universities, it is at stake because the truth is there will be a time where people will no longer go to universities because they have all these things accessible to them. It will be about building discipline to learn, building that discipline to learn, because nobody is going to force you to go to school again. Everyone has access to a PC. You could get an online education. Yeah, you could uh build your own AI assistant that teaches you the basics. And you might be wondering, okay, what of practical courses? What of practical courses? How do do people do we get to? That is where human connection comes in. Lecturers comes in. Lecturers can come in the practical aspects, but courses that don't have a lot of practicals to do. When I mean practicals, I'm talking about like medicine, for example, where you have to do a lot of hands-on projects in the body system. Your lecturers come in and assist you in all those things. So it's going to reduce lecturers, it's going to reduce university. Let me even shock you. Recently, Harvard, there's been a lot of scholarship coming on in the US because they saw a decline in people going to schools. So their way of encouraging people to go to school, which we all say school is a scam, is to give scholarships out to people. So there is a lot of scholarship now in all these schools now because they don't want to run out of business, so they need to create a system to bring in more students, and the best way is to offer more scholarships to people. So yeah, it's really going to disrupt a lot of industry, like everywhere. It's going to reduce the number of staffs that we have. So in a university that has 1,000 staffs or 1,000 lecturers, by the time AI is done with them, they will reduce their staffs to probably 200 lecturers. So it's an interesting time, and everyone needs to tighten up and prepare for what is to come. So the defining factor is that students are no longer interested in a particular course. Like I work in a university here, and we realized that there is even a drop in students. One of the lecturers in business, who is a lecturer in business administration, he was telling me they used to have about 150 students, but now they have less than 50 in a class, which is, despite the fact that there is high cost of living. Like you could just get an MBA online, you could get a course online to become what you want to become, build projects on it. We are moving, and interestingly, we are moving to a world where experience is now much more respected than education. So is reducing the then back in the days like 10 years ago, a lot of people used to, especially in Africa, we value education a lot over experience. But in the Western world, they don't care about your education. All my managers did not go to the university, and they are like senior doing amazing things, you can see. So it's a thing of most students are not interested in these courses again. The lecturers don't have anyone to teach. The lecturers will have to go leave the university. The lecturers have to either embrace the new change or probably still stuck keep themselves being stuck in this situation and not embrace the change that is to come. So yeah, that's just it. Oh, okay. So AI would help small businesses get visibility. I believe in marketing, the first thing people need to know you, people need to like you, people need to trust you. So the knowing AI can easily do that by helping them with building a website, SEO marketing, lead generation, automating your content, even generating content ideas for your business. Like these are things that AI can do. When it comes to the liking, this is where you come in with a little of AI. When it comes to the trusting, you come in fully and do it. So it's going to help build the foundation for their business, get the right network, help them to scale. AI, machine, or models that perform great is because they have data that is rich and healthy. So they can also help them predict how their business is going to be in the future. Do you understand? So for business owners, they need to start positioning themselves for how it is going to be in the future. It's really all about positioning and also, building using AI to gain the visibility they need for their business. So yes. Yeah, yeah. I've been even more challenged. Let me share this. I've been even more challenged lately because I've been seeing uh teenagers in the US develop products with AI and then sell the product thousands of dollars. Like you can imagine teenagers. Now, how do you want to tell that teenager to go to school? Like for what? Because the teenager understand what AI is doing, knows how to, and because of the environment they find themselves where they can easily thrive, everything is amazing. So you can't force those kind of children who are already making 10,000 per month to go to school. Like there is no point going to school to study a course that would not even generate such amount. Of course, going to school is good, but make sure you are studying for the right course or for the right purpose. So yeah, it's amazing how it is changing lives, to be honest. Yeah, yeah. In healthcare, did you say? Okay, so artificial intelligence in healthcare is amazing. It is, we need to understand that one of the mistake we can make is to try to give AI the full power. That's what we call autonomy. AI is supposed to help, like I mentioned, in healthcare. AI is supposed to assist a doctor to perform surgery faster. You know, It's funny how I went for an eye check recently, and I was just seeing machines. I thought I was going to spend like 2 hours, 3 hours. I spent like 30 minutes, to be honest, because machines were everywhere. Robotic machines were everywhere. They plugged it into my eyes. It took my eyes picture, and they used what we call image processing because I saw the software, and I was like, okay, this is AI and image processing is a part of AI that actually processes image and uses computer vision to understand what kind of image it is based on the trained data. So they probably have trained that software with thousands of optometry kind of data to understand when someone has issue with the eyes or not. And in 30 minutes I was done with the I got my in fact this is I got a report, and it was just quick. And this is what we expect, that AI is going to make the job faster. In NHIS, where we have thousands of backlogs, with AI we can reduce the backlogs and with just minimal effort. So yeah, AI is doing amazing things in the healthcare, but healthcare is a very sensitive field. So the creators of AI machines in healthcare needs to put human lives first over profit. They need to put human lives first, because when they begin to put profits first over human lives, then there is high probability of building machines that will end up endangering humans' life rather than protecting them. So it's a matter of loving, like loving, wanting to really save humanity, not just for the money, because there's so much money to be made, but beyond that, there needs to be a bigger sense of purpose for all these AI creators in the healthcare industry. Same with every other industry. Healthcare is just quite sensitive, because any little mistake can take thousands of lives. So yeah, it is about partnership and cross-checking the facts. We don't want lazy doctors. We don't want doctors that rely all their lives. I mean, you studied medicine for 5 7 years, and you are relying all your life on AI. No, you need to use it as an assistant to make your job better, and not to take over everything you're doing. Because at the end of the day, the doctor or the creator would be blamed if anything happens. So I mean, I really am optimistic that we get people who have a higher sense of purpose, which is protecting humans' lives. Well, there is high probability for that to happen. There is I and the reason why I said it is because now we have a lot of data. So imagine how much more data we are going to have access to in the next 50, 100 years. So I said, now in this age in 2025 we have access to a lot of data. So in 50, 100 years, you can imagine what's going to happen, like with the quality of data we are still going to have. I believe by then we are going to have more trustworthy and healthy data coming from amazing intelligent creators, and this would help speed up the process where robots will probably have to. I mean, we'll definitely get to a time where robots is going to perform surgery like awfully. And by then, what we'll be worried about is security. How secure is this robot? Is it doing the right thing? Is it so? But to be honest, in the health sector, I still feel like we need humans there. We need human assistants. We cannot. I can't. Hello, can you hear me? Okay, so I said that there is high chance we'll get to the phase where robots are going to take full autonomy, but I don't pray we get there. And the reason why I said there is high chance is because even right now, robots are helping doctors to perform surgeries with the kind of data. In the next 20, 50, 100 years, you can imagine the level of, I mean, if Jesus is on, hasn't come then, you can imagine the level of quality we are going to get when it comes to data gathering, when it comes to data science. So the quality of our data, the quality of the processes that the AI has done will determine the outputs that will be gotten from that robot systems. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Uh that's a very interesting question. I really perceive that in the future we would not need to work so much, and this would help humans build more human connection. The reason why we would not need to work so much is because when we have a system, a society where AI helps us to, do most of the work and still generates the income for us, the government can use this money, to fund the society, make the society a better place that people would decide if they want to work or not. And people will be able to focus on, people would have a sense of purpose. A lot of people work just because of money, but in the future, it's not going to be so. Now they will have to work because of they have a sense of purpose. They would not work because it's a necessity. They have to. They will work because they choose to. They enjoy doing it. So it's going to be a matter of choice. So uh and of course freelancing is still going to be there. People, many all these jobs that we call mania jobs now, they are going to, it is very difficult to, to automate. So a lot of people are going to focus more on their mania jobs that we look down on, like cleaning, plumbing, fixing things around the house that requires creativity. Those are the things we are going to focus more on. So it is an amazing time, and I'm really optimistic about the future. Okay, ethics is a really big deal. it is as an advocate of AI for good. I'm on a mission to make people understand the dangers that AI can bring when it falls in the wrong creator's hand, and also provide them with the necessary knowledge they need to know about artificial intelligence. When it comes to ethics, there are so many ethical guidelines, that guides a successful AI model. Some of them include transparency, accountability, data integrity. There has to be fairness. We have regulatory bodies who are supposed to be in charge of make ensuring the AI models, AI products, the society or the public have access to is healthy enough. But lately, there has been, should I say, what we call profit over purpose. Profit over purpose. Money over protecting lives. So these regulatory systems are supposed to be the one to really protect us. But like I always say, once they don't protect us, then we need to take responsibility to protect ourselves. That's why I really encourage everyone to read terms and conditions as much as they can. I know it can be long and manipulative, but with the help of AI assistants now, you could understand what a terms and condition is saying, and how it might affect you. So it's really about getting the understanding. Is this AI model transparent enough? When this AI model fails, who is going to be accountable? When the result this AI model is generating from for me, is it because I am black? Because when we look at some AI systems out there, they term blacks as criminals. This is because the creator itself is probably a racist here. So it's an amazing thing to really get the right knowledge when it comes to human ethics, ethics of artificial intelligence, and data ethics. Hello, can you hear me? Hello, are you there? Yes, I can hear you. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so my advice for anyone or for the public will be that embrace AI, be positive about artificial intelligence. I am of a school of thought that anything you focus on expands with time. Yeah, so when you focus more on the negativity, you get to see more about the negative side, and when you focus more on how it can benefit your life, you get to see more about. I mean, that is something that is changing my life. Every day I think about how AI can actually benefit my life. I have a course on artificial intelligence which is like free, and it is where I explained AI in the simplest way to people who don't have technical backgrounds. This is where you understand where it started from, how data is gathered, how data is cleaned, how it is trained, how it goes through machine learning to now become an AI model or AI machine that we all use today. So embrace AI, be positive about it, and position yourself for the future. Position, you will never be stranded when you are good with positioning. You will never be stranded. So get to read, embrace, learn, the fastest and most valuable skill that anyone can get right now is the ability to learn faster, unlearn and relearn. Because as the world moves, as the world uh, evolves, there is a place where we also need to evolve as humans if we want to remain valuable. So, those are my final thoughts, and I really am optimistic about the future. I believe that AI is a blessing, from God to make life better to every one of us. So, yeah, thank you. Yes, I can hear you. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's funny how I have a Medium page where I write articles, and this was what I wrote about yesterday: how Africa can adopt artificial intelligence. The first thing we need to do is to set up basic needs. You know, the society will become a better place when the basic amenities are all settled and there is nothing to worry about. From there, we can now think about the digital health of Africa. When it comes to Africa, we still have a lot to do with internet connectivity. Once the foundation of all these of AI is not well laid, then we cannot have something sustainable. So once the internet connectivity is settled, we now need to think about building the right infrastructure, because for everything, cloud computing is taking over the place now. So there is a need to enact and construct quality data centers around Africa that can, power up and speed up the technological process in Africa. So by this way, AI can have a good foundation to build. We can have data centers where our models will be trained. And once our models are trained well, it would give birth to great and amazing AI resources in Africa. By that way, we can would start to see developments in the area of technology. Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, it is like I said, once the basic amenities are settled, then we can now start talking about internet connection, building infrastructures. You can't tell an hungry man to learn. No, it's not going to be possible. And one of the things we are doing in Diamond Foundation is to really bridge the gap in education and digital literacy now, because even though our aim is digital literacy, but we can't give a computer to someone who does not have any knowledge about education, who is not educated. So we need to ensure that. So we are on a mission to educate people, fund them, take them to school, create a better environment for them to learn. Once they are able to learn, we can now achieve our real mission, which is digital literacy, ensuring that the level of digital divide is reduced, especially in Africa. So there are things that needs to be put in place before we start talking about AI. And it is so sad because countries like China and Japan are already in 2050, like they're really living in the future, and we still have so much to deal with. But if we don't deal with all those things that I mentioned, we cannot go far. We cannot go far because we are talking about sustainability here. So it is really crucial all those things are put in place: basic amenities, education, people learning in the right environment before we start talking about how people can learn. And the interesting thing about my course is that's why I try to also explain my course to in the most simplest way ever, that as long as you are educated, you'll be able to take my course. But if you are not educated, how would you even be able to assimilate? So all those, so many things need to be put in place, and the sooner it is in place, the better and faster it will be for the development in Africa as a whole. Yeah, that's the truth. Oh, thank you for having me. Thank you too for having me. Thank you, Tolu. Thank you, Fidola. See you guys later. Thank you. Bye.